School today, don't you? Oh, those are funny. Some of the teachers are even laughing. How are you? I was here last night for the World Series of E pitch. And we had two young ladies who were pitching for that. Has anybody heard of that? Has anybody seen any of that? Okay. So that event is the first year it was in Chicago. And it was such a striking event that I changed up my whole intro on this because of what happened last night. There were 8 main stage pitches in the auditorium right here in 1871. And 2 of our young women got to do that, which was amazing. And as we were going through the whole evening, I'm just thinking about where we are and what we're doing at this moment. And I want you to think about what you're doing today at this moment and be very aware of everything that you have going for you right now. Last night we were going through it, and actually that's Mr. David Douglas in the back. He is the founder of Yolobi, which is an app right here in 1871. We've been working together for years, a couple of years now, and he was there as well. And we prepped these young ladies and helped them go through a bunch of different things with their pitches. And of course, technology screwed up within the thing. There was the pitch deck was messed up, and everything was going well, and then bam, they got the wrong presentation up, but you have to go. It's 5 minutes, and it's there, and everybody's eyes are on you. And we thought they hit it. They did a great job. And of course, in our minds, they're better than everybody else. So as they went through, 3rd place, it's a young lady who did a tutoring thing. She did great. We were thinking in our minds, these are the top 3, right? Because that's what you do. 2nd place came through. There's another company, and I don't even remember what it was, because then we're like pounding, because we were trying to pick who are our 3. And you could just feel it. And I could feel the tension in the room right now, because you guys are about to do something pretty cool. But let yourself go. You're not sitting in, a math class right now. So you're okay. And then they announced the winner. And I'm here this morning because we didn't win. Because if we won, I don't think we would have got up this morning and came in. But that moment was just like, right? And you're like, they won. And I could see and feel everything in the room change, right? Because the 6 other people thought they were going to be that number 1. Big check, $10,000, no joke, they're going to DC, et cetera, et cetera. There are 2 mindsets that come out of that. And the first one is just shock and awe and just like, this is dumb. They're bad, they're bad, they're bad, they're bad, they're bad, they're bad. But when you start thinking about it, you start thinking, what are the opportunities that we can pull from this? Where did we go right and where did we go wrong? And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm going to talk to you about 3 types of people, and then what the 3rd type of person, who hopefully you all are, does in that moment. Because there are more losers in this room right now, according to this pitch competition, than there are winners, if you think of it that way, on paper. But not in how you take away things from this. So I call this haters, waiters, and doers. And I think you start thinking about right now, if you were to find a hater, a waiter, and a doer in your mindset right now, you could probably pick 3 different people. And hopefully the last one is you. So let's jump into haters, right? How many people have said, what you're doing today, that idea won't work. Your pitch, I don't think so. That's not for me. You can't do that. That's what a hater is. And there's an opportunity in a hater when you're going to do something different. That hater can drive you. Listen to any Jay-Z song, right? I'm a huge Jay-Z fan. But listen to how haters drive you. They can either pull you down or build you up with inside, right? And haters are afraid. They don't want to do anything different. They want to just point at people. Go on any social media. You guys see it all the time, right? Haters everywhere, right? The waiters. What do the waiters do besides bring you food? The waiters aren't here. They're waiting to be brought here by somebody else. You are all in a building. And this building is 1871. And this is the top tier tech incubator in the third largest city in the nation. And on some lists is the top tier tech innovator space in the nation. And you, if you count how many people there are here, I didn't count how many heads, 30, 40 people, are only 30, 40 people who get to be in here today at this moment. You have done something to come in here and do that. The waiters are still outside. They're sitting in class right now. They're sitting at just, I'm going to bubble in my test and I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to see what comes next, right? You all are doers. And this is where we jump in and we start making some fun things happen. So beyond that quick story up front in being a doer, recognize that the opportunity that you have standing in front of you is not whether you get the number 1 or the number 2 or the number 3. It's what you take out of this, the connections, the people that you're going to talk to. Walk around this building. And even down at lunch, one of my colleagues, Professor Allen in the back, walked up. We were getting a protein shake because, I'm cut. I'm working on it. So we're walking, and he walks up to a individual, and he says to her, "Hey, you look like you're happy today. You got a good glow." Something to that matter. She was like, "Thank you." And then they just started talking. That could be the next person that can help him, and he could help her. So if you look at everything that you're going to do this way, by the way, if you all keep connected after this and continue on your journeys, whether you go on to Ivy League, whether you go into community college, whether you be an entrepreneur, whatever, that's powerful. So doers do that. I got a few notes because I was out late last night. So I'm going to go over some things that doers do. How many times you guys wanted to give up on this? Has anybody, be honest, has anybody ever wanted to give up? You wanted to give up? What was it? What was overwhelming with it?
Just like time management and like just doing the research outside of like the actual schoolwork.
Exactly, right? It's hard. Looking at everything and not being able to manage things out, and it's overwhelming. Something's got to give, right? But it doesn't have to. What kept you going?
I mean, just like preparing the business plan, just being motivated to act like entrepreneur and just make it my own because it's my own business plan.
Yes.
So just like motivating myself, I guess, get me going.
This is yours. And I think you're speaking for a lot of people in here, hopefully. Like, this is yours. And you're not going to give up, because when you are closest to giving up, you're basically so close, you're closer than you think, right? And you're all there. And some of your pitches you're going to do great, and some of your pitches you're going to be like, oh my gosh, but it doesn't matter because you're moving forward. You're continuing to go through. That's what a doer does. How many people are feeling a little tense and a little uncomfortable, like ready, like to get in front of people to talk? It's okay. I know he's like, yeah, I am. Okay, good. If you ask me, as a junior in high school, if I would be up in front of people, talking to people about anything, I would have laughed in your face and then found a corner and crawled in it, right? Honestly. And I was telling this story on the way up here to a couple of my colleagues, and that story was, I forced myself to take a speech and drama class in high school. And I was very intrinsic. And in some cases, I still am intrinsic. And that's okay. But I knew I needed to get in front of people and talk to people and understand other people's points of views if I was going to grow. So I took this class, and I remember it was about halfway through the class, the teacher was like, okay, so we're going to now do our lip sync project. And you know, you can slide. You guys know education, right? You can slide, you can get through some things. And then all of a sudden, it was like, we're going to have you on stage, we're going to film you, and you're going to do a lip sync competition in front of the whole class. And I about died because there's no hiding. There is no hiding on that stage. And then I was just like, okay, how am I going to do this? And then it hit. Anybody Blues Brothers fans in here? I'm a huge Blues Brothers fan. All right, I know that's why we hang out, Professor Allen. One of my favorite movies, because it's not only a comedy. I love Belushi. I love Aykroyd. I love that old school comedy. It's Chicago. The musicians in it. It's beautiful. So there was a song by Cab Calloway called "Minnie the Moocher" in that. Some of the old people are like, yeah, I remember that one. And it was just a song that I just love because he was on stage before waiting for the Blues Brothers to come in because they were being chased by the police and everything. And he just like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And he got up and he just started doing his dance. You know, I can't do Cab Calloway, but I was like, that's the song I'm going to do. And it represented that point where I was going to jump off and do something different. And so I did it. I got on stage. I had contacts at the time, but I had prescription sunglasses, so I put them on over, and I couldn't see anything for anything without my glasses. So everything was like blurry. So it'd be like if you're squinting and you're looking around, and you're like, so I couldn't see anything, but I could just feel the music, and I knew I had to lip sync it. And I remember I went through the whole thing, and one of the, what I would say, most critical people or a hater in the class came up to me afterwards and said, dude, you nailed that. That was awesome. And then boom, things started blowing up. Your mindset changes right away, right? And for every moment on that mindset changes and somebody says you just did something that you were uncomfortable doing, that's where you need to be, right? It's okay to be comfortable, but get outside your zone a lot and start talking to people or start doing things that are pushing your boundary. Otherwise, you're just going to stay in with all the haters and the waiters. But you're not. You're doers. How many people have seen the entrepreneur things on Instagram? It's like you got the guy with the Ferrari or the girl wearing all the Versace, and they're like, we're entrepreneurs, right? Have you guys seen that? Okay, if you walk through this building and ask what kind of cars these people drive, I guarantee you 99% of them are Hyundais. Okay? Okay, so what we're sold and what we realize in entrepreneurship is very different. We're sold that you have to have major wins and you have to be a champion of everything that you're doing. So your business, if it doesn't go all the way to the top S&P 500 tomorrow, you failed. That's the messages that we're getting, right? And that is completely backwards. You have to celebrate the small wins. Today, in this building, when you walked in here, it's Friday, you're at Novus Pitch Day. They got some really cool stuff on Instagram and all these different things. This is part of your story now. That's a small win. You get to take what you're about to do here because we have the technology, we have everything on this device. Thank you, I upgraded. I just upgraded. I used to have a 5C, and when I brought this up, people were like, what is that? All right, so I finally upgraded mine. So no disrespect, because if you have a 5C, I could probably still use mine. But you can do everything on there. And now you can show your story through the eyes of Josh and Isaiah and how they've created this thing. So you have that opportunity to take, that's a small win. And look, I come from a small town in Indiana. Has anybody ever heard of Walkerton, Indiana? We used to call it Walker-Tucky, a little bit of out there, all right? Small community, 1,200 people. I graduated with 90 kids in my high school class, right? Most of them are still there. Most of them are doing fine, but a lot of them are waiters. They're just like waiting for, okay, I'm just gonna go and do my thing. If you would have, again, told me that I have this here, I didn't just walk into 1871 and say, hey guys, how are you? I'm going to give the keynote today. You celebrate the small wins and they get bigger and bigger and bigger as they add on, right? And understand that what you have here is power. But with that power comes great responsibility. And this is actually one of my previous students, but he's teaching me so much now, especially about Spider-Man. So you solve your own problems. You look for opportunity in everything. Okay. I want to ask you guys this one, and this is about high school, and this is kind of where I'm going. How many people love this space? Have you been able to take a look around yet? I mean, this is pretty cool. There were a few of you who have been here. Has anybody been here before, right? 1871? Okay. Have you been to any other co-working spaces in and around Chicago? There are hundreds of them, by the way. Many of them are much smaller than that. You're basically in like, you know, the Taj Mahal of them right now. But some of them are, you know, smaller communities, et cetera, et cetera. Would you like to go to a school that looks like this? Where you all could just get together and work on your business ideas and then learn math, science, education, any kind of history, English through this? If things go well and I build my small wins correctly, you're going to see this in the next couple years. I'm going to go with my why. And my why is because I believe that you all can do much more than the traditional education system is allowing you to do. So let me go to your mindset and your time management, right? You have a lot of things. I'm guessing you're in sports and clubs, and I'm probably speaking for a lot of you here, right? And you're doing all these things to grow, but you want to get into the next level of education, and you want people to pay for it, right? Of course you do. It's costly. There's trillions of dollars of debt. No pressure. So when you look at this small pitch and I tell you all this, now you're like, oh, this pitch isn't anything now, right? I got a big, huge decision to make next level, whatever that may be. What's the last big project you had? Did you all have a paper? I'm going to ask you. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Did you have a big paper to do? Right? Okay. Can I ask you, how long did you know about this big project or homework assignment? And how long did you actually work on it? And be completely honest.
About a week. I knew about it.
Uh-huh.
I worked on it for like 2 days.
2 days, right? So you went from, if it's fair to say, 7 days to 2 days. And in those 2 days, if we could pound out some hours here, or minutes maybe, in each day that you worked on it, can you tell me an approximate? Doesn't have to be exact.
Like an hour and a half a day.
So 3 hours. So we went from 7 days to 3 hours, and I guarantee you in those 3 hours you were pounding it out though. You were like focused, you were like everything, get off. I'm not looking at social media. I'm not being distracted. Maybe a little food in there, I hope, you know. And you're just nailing it, right? Mm-hmm. What if you did that every single minute of the day? You all could finish high school in a couple of months. And let that sink in, right? You could. Right? But you're learning through time management, and there's other things that you have to do, and I get that. If you can get into that mindset where every single day you're doing something that is that intense towards what your why is, look out. I am in a room full of movers and shakers. When I'm working on something, I always have the next 3 things on my mind, but I'm going to go forward and continue working on it, get that done, get that done, get that done, in their small increments. They're not big. They're not that big, huge. That paper is just a small part of the class, right? So what you're learning in that is if you can take the real learning out of that mindset change and you can start putting some different things in there and say, okay, I'm going to do this, 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 and then you pound it out. Because look, I know everybody in here has written like a 2-pager in 2 minutes. I know you have, because you're that good, right? You can see the snickering in here, like, ha, ha, ha. Yes, right? And we're teachers. We know this. Imagine what you can do with the rest of your time when you're sitting around. I had a student talk to me in my management class the other day, and she was like, I see you teaching. I see you on Instagram. I see you a little bit on Snapchat, or my wife calls it Snap and Chat. She still thinks this is Snap and Chat, so we're just chatting and snapping at it. We're a little older. And then I see you on Facebook. I see your YouTube channel. I see your podcast. I see your website. How do you have time for all that? I'm like, well, before we go there, what you don't see is I have 2 kids. I have a family. I have a guinea pig in my house. I have a mortgage. I have all these different things. And then they're like, wow, how does this happen? How did you do this? And what I say is every single minute of my day, I am looking at the next piece that I can grow and I can push something, and I'm finding opportunity constantly. And yesterday I was doing 3 things at the same time. Jake was in my office, and that is it. I'm going to leave you with a couple of things, okay? And one of my favorite Jay-Z lyrics is on to the next one. Huge fan. Read the lyrics of that. Can't be scared to fail in search of perfection. Your life is about failure. It's not about the A. The A is a letter. Failure is learning. Keep that in your mind, because if you are afraid to fail, you will get nowhere. If you get up here and you do your pitch and you do it pretty well and you fail, whatever failure means to you, if you don't win, that is actually a learning moment. You become David and I in the room last night. You become somebody who is just like, ooh, you feel bad for a minute. Your gut checks you. But then you move on and you try to find out, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? And then move. Because that's the life of an entrepreneur. You have to be humble. You don't know everything. I don't know everything. One of the easiest things for me to say in front of a classroom full of students is, help me out. How do I do what you're doing? It's rare that teachers do that sometimes. This gentleman helped me figure out it's not Snap and Chat, it's Snapchat and technology and those types of things as a senior in high school. He is now building websites not only for myself or a couple other business entities, but worldwide. Be fearless. When you come up here, be you. Don't care what anybody else thinks, because they don't care what you think. But you want to be who you are and put out your idea and your plan. Be passionate. Very passionate about what you want to do, and then go for it, and understand that your first and second and third and fourth and maybe even your fifth, and I can go on, renditions are going to suck. And be okay with it. My first blog, I wrote like a 3rd grader, and it was 2 years ago. And it's out on my site. Go back in my blogs, you can read them, you can see them. Be bold. And basically, when you are in this mindset, this is where the real learning begins. Everything is going to flood into you. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've seen it in students before, and I can already see it in this room, and I can't wait to hear your pitches. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck today. I really appreciate being invited as an outsider into Novus Club. Take advantage of everything, and let's go get it today. Thank you.